Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Hello, my sugar bears. It's me, Leo Brown, and as you can see by the title of the video, honey, yeah, we gotta have a talk, Texas and myself. Okay. So before I go into it, let me start off by saying thank you guys so much for watching, for commenting, for liking, for subscribing, most of all, and becoming a part of the Sugar Bear family. While you're here, make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you subscribe. So, before I go into my little rant, because it will be a rant, I wanted to do some fun facts about Texas. As you know, I've been living in Houston for 3 years now, and I'll say this about Houston. Well, not Houston, because that's a whole nother video and a whole nother conversation. But about Texas thus far, Texas, and let me just say this before I go into it. Every city, every state has its issues. Okay, no state, no city is perfect. No country, you know what I mean? Do you not like the US? Honey, we have a bloody history. And if you don't believe me, do your research. Um, but I wanted to come on and actually post some facts about Texas. And thus far, like I said, I've been living here for 3 years. And it's been a journey. It's been a good journey for me. I'm not gonna lie. I don't dislike Texas. I don't dislike Houston. But I feel like for me, it's good. You know what I mean? It's doable. I can make it work because it's not bad, but it's not fantastic for me. And like I said, I'm only speaking for myself. So before I go into my little rant about Texas and the whole energy crisis and everything that's going on and the voter suppression and stuff, yeah, I wanted to actually do some Texas facts that I myself didn't know and maybe you don't know. So here we go. So we've got Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper was invented in Texas in 1885 in Waco, which I never knew that. I never, ever knew that. And actually, Dr. Pepper is one of my favorite dark sodas. The first frozen margarita machine was invented in Dallas. The catchphrase "What's up, Doc?" originated in Dallas by Tex Avery. Let's see. Let's see. Texas uses its own power grid separate from the rest of the United States. Now, since we talked about that, since that is a Texas fact, let's talk about that. Let's get into it about this. So, during the winter of last year, Texas had the winter storm. Austin, Dallas, Houston, like all the itty bitty counties in Texas really got hit. And for a lot of people who are not used to cold weather, it was a lot. People passed away. People, um, died of carbon monoxide poisoning. People didn't have power. People didn't have water. There were rolling blackouts. It was not a fun time. And even for me, I was without water for 7 days. I had electricity. I didn't have water, so I couldn't wash myself. I couldn't brush my teeth. Couldn't do anything. And I didn't get my water. I think until maybe the following Monday or Tuesday. And that's because in my apartment complex, pipes had burst. Even though I had, on my end, I knew what to do because being from the Midwest, I knew how to thrive even during cold weather. And that's one thing I am grateful for. I'm grateful that I lived in the Midwest for so long, so I know how to adapt. So now let's fast forward to now. So now we got this thing going on with the power grid concerning the heat. The temperatures here in Houston right now, and even in just Texas in general, have reached, I think, between 105 and 108 degrees. Okay. The heat indexes have been ridiculous. So they're now telling people, oh, well, put your thermostat on 75 or 72. Excuse me, put your thermostat on 72. Put it on 82 to sleep. And I'm like, for people who are elderly, for people who are disabled, like myself, for people who need air, like there are people who have blood pressure issues. That for them, when the heat hits them, it affects them. You know, um, so this really is a disaster. And then you got Governor Abbott, who I really listen, and I'm gonna say this right now. If you are a supporter of Governor Abbott, if you are a supporter of Ted Cruz, I don't know why you on my channel, because I'm not a fan of these stunt queens, especially Ted Cruz. I don't understand how you are of Latino heritage and you just won't do the right damn thing. But I know there are a lot of conservative Latinos. That's a whole other conversation for another day. But no, man, this is ridiculous. And then to top it off, we have thunderstorms coming up. We have hurricane season coming up. So do you want another Hurricane Harvey? Do you want another thing that happened in the winter with the winter storm? People are still recovering from that to this day. Like, that wasn't that long ago. People are still dealing with that. And it was just like, this shit could be so prevented, as they said in the Texas facts. Okay, Texas has its own power grid. But if your power grid isn't working, if it's not up to code, if it's not up to the right specifications, why the fuck are we using it? That doesn't make any sense. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about conserving energy and things like that. But my thing is, with as hot as the summers are and as wet as the winters and falls get, why not do solar, wind power, hydroelectricity? I mean, I'm just saying, you can do things like that. It's not hard. You know what I mean? But the thing of it is, this all boils down to money. This is all about money. This is not about people. It's about money. It's about dominion. Even with the whole, and I'm gonna get into this too, even with the whole voter suppression thing, the voter suppression law. Governor Abbott has, I believe he signed a bill in Texas where, like, say if there's a line, say I'm voting for my next congressman in my district, or I'm voting for my next senator. Um, if there's a line and it's hot or it's cold or whatever, you can't give me food. You can't give me water. And then you got redlining going on. You got all these things going on. You got all this gerrymandering going on. They don't want people to do mail-in ballots. Like, Texas, I'm gonna need y'all to get it together. And here's the thing that gets me. You've got Dallas, Houston, and Austin, and I believe San Antonio. And those particular cities all have high minority populations. They're all, even though I live in a red state, those particular cities that I named, they all vote blue. They're Democratic cities. So my thing is, and I say this to all the residents, if you're a Texan like myself, if you live here in Houston, Dallas, Austin, get out and do what you need to do. Get out and vote. You know what I mean? Because this is crazy. Because think about it. They even said it. They did an interview, or they did an interview. They did an article not too long ago. I forgot. Was it the Texas Tribune? Or was it the Houston Chronicle? It was one of them, one of the big papers. And they said that the power grid during the winter storm was 4 minutes from collapsing. 4 minutes. That means people could have been without power and water for months, years at a time. That's not cute. That's not right. And let's be honest, who does this affect the most? Who does this affect the most? Who does this hurt the most? It hurts people like me. It hurts people who are Black and brown and marginalized and disabled and elderly and GLBT, 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 and you know what I mean? And the trans community. It affects us. So we have to do the best we can with what we have. Like, I can tell you right now, I have water out the yin yang since I had no water. I have water everywhere in my house now because I realized, what if this happens again? You know what I'm saying? I live alone. You know what I mean? Even though that doesn't matter, but let's be real, it does in a sense. Because here's the thing, I could see it if I had people around me that had resources, but it's just me. So I have to be really mindful of things I do. And like I said, I'm all about conserving energy, but this is not about energy conservation. This is about greed, plain and simple. Governor Abbott is an asshole. You see him here spending, what, 1.8 billion on a border wall along the Rio Grande? Why? For what? Because here's the thing. Here's what conservatives don't understand. Okay. Now I know not every conservative agrees with Governor Abbott or Ted Cruz and the like. I know that. But here's what people don't understand. It doesn't matter how much you spend on a wall, which could go to improving the energy grid here in Texas, along with infrastructure and social programs and blah 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 blah. But I digress. If somebody wants to come here for a better life, for a better chance at, making it for themselves, if they want to come here, they're going to come here. And it doesn't matter what color they are. And here's an idea. Why don't you make it easier for people who go through immigration? Why don't you make it easier for them? Why get rid of all the countless hoops they have to jump through just to become a citizen, just to get a green card, just to get a work visa? Why don't you do that? Why don't you put that money in something like that to make it easier for them? That way they don't have to sneak over here. They don't have to do deceptive things. But if you're making it harder because you don't want them here, which is what it is, not because it's the American way, but just because you don't want them here, then what are they going to do? They're going to do what they know. They're going to sneak in. And it don't matter how much money you spend on a border wall. Okay? Stop it. And here's the other thing that I want to say about the whole Governor Abbott thing, because as you can tell, I do not like him at all. I think this man is awful. He's an awful governor. And I don't know if the people of Texas are just gluttons for punishment, but this is no, man. So then we got COVID going on, right? COVID is still going on, even though people are getting vaccinated and things like that. People are still dying from COVID, okay? Even though they're not reporting it as frequently, people are still passing from COVID. I mean, if you don't believe me, look at India. India is going through it right now. And I really, really, really extend, my energy and my prayers and everything to that country, because I find it sad that, I mean, granted, I'm grateful for the vaccine and vaccinations and stuff, but it's like we're not shelling out the proper things to other countries like we should. That's just my opinion. Um, so now we have COVID. So right now, mind you, if you live here in Texas, you know what I'm talking about. So right when the whole winter storm happened, when people were getting their power back and things like that, within 2 weeks, Governor Abbott was like, well, now I'm going to open Texas back up at 100%. That was a really good distraction. That was a really good distraction. And unfortunately, a lot of us fell for it. But I didn't, because I'm like, no, you trying to cover up the shit that you did, that you purposefully did. And I'm just gonna be honest. I honestly believe this man purposefully wanted to eliminate Black and brown and marginalized people. Because if you look at Texas, Texas is comprised of that. Okay? Even in rural communities. So that's what you wanted to do. And you did it some way. But I hope that the people of Texas don't forget what he did. And people are still suffering. People are still dealing with it. I am not always a fan of certain people, like, the mayor, Sylvester Turner. I like Sylvester somewhat, but I also feel like a lot of his stuff is not his fault. I feel like his hands are tied, because even during the whole COVID thing, when COVID was hitting Texas, when El Paso was really going through it, okay? So much so that I know a lot of my nurse friends were coming to Texas and they were travel nursing because it was a hot spot. And when he said the governor has not reached out to me at all about COVID and about what's going on. So that tells me how out of touch he is. And unfortunately, it's not just Texas, it's Georgia too, but that's all on the show. But it's just sad to me, and I just had to get this off my chest, because I feel like you are deliberately wanting people to suffer for nothing. You know what I mean? But then you want us to turn around and go to the polls and vote for you again. No. And for my Beto O'Rourke fans, I love me some Beto. I do. Now, mind you, I know about the whole blackface thing. I know about him doing the whole. I know about all that. Okay. I think Beto O'Rourke. I think Beto O'Rourke isn't perfect. I know that, but I think for someone like Governor Abbott, as slimy as he is and as cunning as he is, we need somebody like Beto or better, because what's going on here in this state is ridiculous. Even the abortion bill. Oh my God! Like, really? So you want women to have coat hanger abortions again? You want them to have back alley abortions? Because that's what's going to happen. And even with the Planned Parenthood, and I'm rambling, so just deal with me, y'all. Planned Parenthood does more than provide abortions. Planned Parenthood does contraceptive. They do parenting classes. They do HIV and AIDS testing. They do. They provide hormones and hormone replacement therapy, and they provide condoms, contraceptives, things like that. So it's more than just abortions. And speaking as someone who is pro-choice, I'm very pro-choice because number one, I am not a woman. Therefore, I can't tell a woman what to do. Yes, I am feminine, but I'm not a woman. And I'm okay with that. Okay. So I can't tell a woman what to do with her body, and nor do I want to. All right. So, but I'm also, and what I want to say about that is I am pro-choice. That doesn't mean I'm pro-abortion. I'm pro-option. Abortion is just one of those options, but it's not my decision. And it's not my right to tell a woman what to do with her body. I would never do that. That's just like somebody telling me what to do with my body when you don't have my body, when you don't know what I go through as a man, as a black man, as a gay man. You can't tell me what to do. Okay? So that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to come on and just ramble about Miss Texas, honey, because we had to talk. So I thank you guys so much for watching. If you agree with me, you're more than welcome to leave a comment. If you don't agree with me, you can leave a comment too. I do read them all. We can agree to disagree. We're all adults here. And until next time, my sugar bears, I will see you all next time. Have a great evening. I'll talk to you soon. Okay? Bye bye.